All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Engel. I've gotten several questions about this design that I did that allows you to 3D print parts to be able to mount the Garmin Live Scope transducer to a Minn Kota Terrova. Actually mounting it to the housing on the Minn Kota Terrova. So what I thought I'd do is I'll go over all the 3D printed parts and what their functions are. I'll go over the shower rod that you have to modify in order to get it to work. And then I'll actually install it on the Minn Kota and deploy it and show how I set mine up using the various knobs and things, and then I'll stow the motor and actually remove it. So anyway, let's get started with all this stuff here. So this first part is what I call the handle. This hole here is where a wooden dowel goes through. You can get them at Lowe's, or just any PVC pipe also work, I think. I think it's a 1/2 will go in there. And so this 3D printed piece is attached to the top of the smaller diameter shower rod, and you just slide it over the shower rod, and drill a hole and put a small rivet in there and holds it in place. I've only got one in there, and it holds it just fine. So that's the first 3D printed piece. This next piece is the I believe it's called the pole attachment. You got the shower rod that goes down through here, at least the larger shower rod. And then this hole here is where this knob goes and attaches to this stainless steel nut. The purpose of this is to lock it in against the extruded aluminum. And so I designed a I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. I designed a recessed hexagon shape for the nut to sit down in, and so all you do is slide the nut down in there. It's kind of tricky to get it lined up because I got it in there pretty tight. Let's see, get that in there. There it goes. And so you can see how it resets down in there, and this as the screw comes out, it just binds against the extruded aluminum. And so there's that piece. And then the next one is this is a 3D printed part that acts as a tension plug. And if you notice, the top of it is a concave top. That allows the pole to slide in there and to secure flush up against the shower rod. I added some Gorilla Tape here to give it some backing. I found that if I didn't have the Gorilla Tape, it would crush through the 3D printed plastic no matter how thick I printed it. Another piece that would work is maybe a small washer that has a smaller hole than what the threaded screw is on the knob. But anyway, something hard here in this. So far, this Gorilla Tape that I put on there, I think it's several layers of it, is working just fine. And so the other thing that goes in the tension hole is this 1032 nut. You get them at Lowe's, and I think I put it on the Thingiverse website as well. And so on this hole, I designed an access hole in here to drop the nut down in to make it a little bit easier to install. So you just drop the nut down in the hole, and sometimes it just doesn't line up good. And I use this guy here to actually pop it in place. I don't know if you can see that in the video. And then I take my finger and hold the nut in place. Oop, it slipped out. Try that again. The next thing I do is slide the plug in, and it's kind of sort of the same way. I just take it and slide it in there in the hole. And this access hole here allows you to push it down in there. And I don't know if you'll be able to see through that, but anyway, it's sitting in there recessed and allow room for the shower rod to slide up in there. And so I take my finger and hold the plug in place, and then I take the tension knob. It's another one that you get from Lowe's. I think I put it in the Thingiverse website. I'll show the picture of it. And so this guy just screws into the nut, and when you feel it start to press the plug out, you kind of back off a little bit, and now it's ready to slide into the pole. Let's see. So here's the collar that goes on that allows you to set the height of the pole, or another way to say it is to set the depth of the transducer, how far it is down in the below the water line. But anyway, this holds the pole in place to set the height. And I don't, be honest with you, I don't use this that much anymore. The most that I have used it is when I was fishing for crappie, fishing brush pile. It allows you to hold the transducer at the right depth, whether you're doing down scan or forward scan. And it works really well, but this piece doesn't last because of the tension it has over time. It'll eventually crack, and that's what you can see here. I'm just reusing this when I drilled a hole in it and put this knob back in there. So if there's more interest in this design, I do know what I need to do to fix it, to put a screw in here to give it more reinforcement, and that'll help it last a lot longer. And let's see what other parts I got to do. Get to the pole next. Let's see. Let me go ahead and cover the pole. No, hold on a second. Let me. I've got to move this camera here. Let's talk about the piece, that base attachment here that's on the trolling motor. And so this is probably one of the most critical pieces here. This is attached to the trolling motor housing with 15 millimeter 6M screws. These are stainless steel, so they don't rust. And so you have to drill a hole and tap the threads for these guys here in order to get it on there securely. You want to go ahead, you want to print this first and use it as a template, so you can mark your first hole. You mark the hole, you drill it, you tap the thread, and then you install this back on here and you put that screw in, and then you move to the next hole. You mark the hole, you take this off, take that screw out, you take this off, drill a hole, tap it, put this back on, and put this screw in. And that's the best way to do it, to make sure that you get the holes where they need to be, and that it's on there snugly. This piece prints as thick as you can stand it. I purposefully put these gaps in here because I didn't think the whole thing needed to be solid, so it reduces the print time. And so that's kind of what this piece is for. There is a, let's see, I think that's a 10 millimeter 6M screw with a T-nut on the back of it that the extruded aluminum slides into. I would take this off, but this thing it's a pain in the butt to get the T-nut in there to lock like it needs to. That's the only really tough piece to install on this setup. And so there's two more over here that you need to do the same thing to. And you want to take your time with this. If you screw up these holes and you don't get all four, I don't think it'll hold on there like it needs to. So if you don't have experience tapping threads, get somebody who does to do that for you. And also pay attention to the schematic of your Terrova. I don't think they've changed it, but anyway, I got the schematic for mine, and I confirmed that where the holes are at, the way I designed this thing, where the holes are at, there's nothing inside the housing that the screws are going to hit, or a drill bit will hit when you go in there. And so it's got the clearance that it needs inside there. Alrighty, so that's that guy. Let's set this thing back on here. Alright, what's next here? The shower rods. Let's see, I think I need to go ahead and assemble this for my next topic here to cover. So let's see. This guy goes on first with the long end going on. And then you want to put your collar on. And then this is a cotter pin to hold the allow you to adjust the height of the handle. I've just got it tied to elastic string, hold it in place, and then you want to insert the shower rod in here, or the other end of the shower rod. And then let's talk about these holes a minute. And so the way you want to do this is, let's see. Yeah, the way you want to do this is you want to drill your first hole here and then slide it up about an inch and drill the next hole, going through the same hole that you just made on this larger diameter shower rod end. And you want to do about maybe, I think I did 10 holes in mine. I don't really know that I need that many. But you want to drill a hole and then slide it up an inch, drill a hole and then slide it up an inch. And so there's my hole there that I hold mine at. Let's see, I need to put that right here. Now let's see, hopefully I won't look like an idiot trying to get this thing in here. Squeeze the cotter pin down a little bit. And so let's see. You line the hole up. You just stick your cotter pin in there. Flip it on the other side so I can see it. There's your blues. Stick it through there and then widen the pin and lock it in place. So, anyway, so that's how you adjust the height and lock it in place with a cotter pin. The other thing that I'll mention is when you're installing this handle, you want to make sure that you line it up with you want to make sure the handle and the transducer mount are lined up like that, so that when you're turning the handle and you want to point it toward the area that you want to scope, and it also kind of tells you where you need to cast when you see the fish, you want to make sure these things are lined up. So this guy needs to be lined up straight with that guy right there, and I hope that makes sense and you can see that on the camera. The other thing that you need to do is the shower rod diameter is not thick enough or not wide enough for this clamp to work, so you have to thicken the diameter of the shower rod with what I use was Gorilla Tape, and it took quite a bit. I think that's just a little over an eighth of an inch thick of Gorilla Tape, but it holds it in place just fine once you get it wrapped around there and get it thick and clamp this guy down. And so I think that's it for the 3D printed parts and what they do. I'll tighten this down here just to keep it from going all over the place. And so this tension knob here, now you can see this thing kind of locked in place. So now I'll install it on the trolling motor. This is pretty much the way this thing is when I get to the boat ramp. And so part of my boat prep is to install the transducer. And so I'll do that right now. Let's see. The guy goes around like that. And then the knob goes on here. And let's see, I want to have it do mine. I always do forward scan. Go on the mark here. Yep. So now that's in place there. Hopefully you can see that on the camera just fine. And then now I will install it on the trolling motor. So when you install it on the trolling motor, you want to make sure the nut is recessed and you got clearance. I'm going to work on it to get the extruded aluminum in there. So that guy just slides on like that. Tighten it down, and we usually just tighten the tension down on that guy right there. Sometimes I have the collar. Make sure it's. I usually put it where it needs to be. That's the set depth I usually fish it at. So that's how I ride to leave the boat ramp and head to my fishing spot. And it rides just fine like that. You can see that it's pretty stout. Shakes the whole boat. This is a little bit wobbly, but that's okay. You really want it to have a little bit of play in it, just so you can work with it. So now I will show you how to deploy the motor with the mount attached. Get out there. So you have to manage the cables when you're deploying it. This guy's twist up. She locks in place. Just down a little bit. There it goes. And so you deploy the motor, make sure you don't pinch your cables. So then I just loosen the tension knob. Slides down, and let me adjust the camera here. It's out of view here. So one thing to notice here is the clearance that you got with this guy. When you cut your aluminum, you want to make sure you got enough clearance here for this head to clear. When the trolling motor turns, you don't want it to hit it. And so this is kind of what the front of it looks like. When I'm fishing, I just lean over and just grab the tension knob right there and loosen it up or tighten it up, whatever I need to do. And you can see it slides down. And let me loosen it up for a minute. So with it loose, you're able to easily turn it like that. But if you're in current, you need to have the tension knob tightened up really well. And so, but you can still turn it and it will pretty much stay in place. It's pretty tight, but I'm able to turn it really easy with my hand. And so that's pretty much it. You got the cable here, you have to manage it. You got clearance from the trolling motor. I can't turn it, but at this height, the propeller doesn't strike this. It gives me, I have enough clearance there to do that. And so, let's see. I think that's it. I'll just stow the motor. Just back in place here. So just to stow it, I usually just it's gonna be heavy. Pull it up like this. Lock lock that in place. Then I release the tension here. Then slide this guy up. Yeah. Tighten the tension knob back up. Sometimes I'll move this guy up here like that. Just lock it in place a little bit more. And so then I move to my next spot. When I'm in rough water, it's easy to just loosen the knob there, slide it off, and just let that guy sit right there so it doesn't bounce when I'm hitting waves and stuff. Then yeah, I think that's it. Works pretty good. And so I think I've covered everything. If I haven't covered, if I've missed something, just post a comment on YouTube or leave me a message in the chat on charlestonfishing.com. I'm glad to answer any questions. If there's more interest in this project, I've got a guy that's got, I guess he's going to get somebody with a 3D printer to make some of these parts. Be interested to see how it goes for him. But anyway, if there's interest in this, I'll make an improvement on the collar so that it'll last. You won't have to worry about reprinting or drilling another hole to get the tension knob in there. But anyway, send me questions, and appreciate everybody's interest in this. Hope this video is going to be worth it and I don't sound too stupid. But anyway, don't do this very often. Thank you guys.